Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am filming at night. Look, it's dark outside. I'm trying to get some filming done before I leave for Hawaii because I'm going to Hawaii and I'm really excited. Just trying to get myself, ready in advance to go and have a stress-free vacation. But I wanted to show you an update on my greenhouse cabinet because I've had some issues with it and I fixed the issues and now everything is running a lot better. I was having some issues with humidity and now things have been amazing. The light strip is amazing. I will have all the videos that I've done previously on my greenhouse cabinet linked below so that you can see the whole process, but I figured I haven't done an update in a while, so I wanted to show you kind of what's growing in here. And yeah, it has changed quite a bit recently. I did a little bit of a reorganize in this cabinet. So anyway, let's get into it. Okay, here is the cabinet these days. Current humidity is 80%. It's been a lot better. I did have to reinforce the side piece here, and there were a few other pieces that I had to close up because I was noticing that the humidity was actually dropping in here quite quickly. So I'm going to show you where I did extra seals as well. All right, I turned off the fan because that was really loud, but let's go through and see some new growth. So this is my Polynera, and it doesn't have a ton of new growth, but you can definitely see that the growth that's coming in is shaped correctly. A lot of the old growth was just really small and frail, and the new stuff is just looking really robust, if I was to give it a word. It is also looking a little bit bleached out from the light. It is pretty close to the grow light, so it is getting a little bit of that bleaching, but I think it's okay. Everything in here is also probably getting thirsty, by the way, so I am going to be doing some watering in here. Oh, look how quickly the humidity dropped. Okay, speaking of humidity, let me just quickly show you where I sealed up. So you can see right there, I used hot glue, kind of how you would use caulking, to just seal up this little hole and this hole. And that helped so much. The greenhouse was able to maintain humidity so much better. I did the same thing on this side, and yeah, it just was a really big help. My weather stripping does look like it's like coming off a little bit, but when I close the cabinet, it actually is fine. So I was concerned that I would have to redo the weather stripping, but it turns out that I didn't, and I'm really thankful for that because that was a whole process. But okay, so next exciting thing, well, my string of turtles is just like doing the turtle thing. It's totally fine. I'm, happy about it. But probably the most exciting part of this entire tour that I'm going to show you is my queen Anthurium, which looks so bad, has a baby. And she, since this leaf started coming out, this leaf right here has looked like so much worse. And I think it honestly is just because she's putting all of her effort into this. So we have a new queen leaf. This is actually the first leaf that she's ever put out on her own. It is currently sitting in cocoa peat, and just to help regrow the root system, because I did take it out of the pot and the root system just wasn't that impressive, if I'm honest. So I felt like the soil just wasn't good for it. So I put it in this cocoa peat for a time. And since I did that, it started putting out this. So I feel like I did the right thing in doing that. And I will eventually put it in actual nutrient rich soil, but probably not until I see some roots maybe poking out the bottom or just some more significant growth. These are my little Anthurium seedlings that I grew from seed. Obviously, they're doing great. They're pretty stable in this little terracotta pot. I showed them in my October favorites video, so no updates since then, but they are looking very cute. This gorgeous lady put out this tiny cute leaf. This is actually the offshoot. So the baby put out a baby leaf. The leaves hopefully will start to get bigger and bigger. And like I said before, I think I am going to want to separate this from the mother plant and grow it on its own. Hopefully one day the leaves will be around this size. We will just have to see, but this one just put out this new leaf. You can see it's a nice little coppery color. My Forgetii is putting out a new leaf, which I'm stoked about. This was the most recent leaf that it put off, and it had older leaves, but I kind of just took them off because they weren't looking very good. And when I did that, we were blessed with this one. So I'm really excited to see how big this new leaf gets and how happy it'll be. I'm just excited to have it be more than a one leaf legend. So that'll be really fun. This plant here that was gifted to me by Jeff, the owner of Vintage Hill, this is the ID on it. It's looking really good. Like, it's acclimating super well. This little spike here is actually going to put out a new leaf, which is super exciting. And let's see if I can look at the bottom here. No roots at the bottom yet, I don't think. Yeah, no roots at the bottom, but once I see that, I'll probably give it some nutrient-rich soil, but until then, it's gonna just like hang out in here. I think we're zoomed in. My mammy eye is doing something exciting. We've got a new leaf here. It is actually almost too big for the cabinet, so I'm either gonna have to rearrange pretty quickly or move it out of the cabinet entirely. This is one of my philodendron that did pretty well in lower humidity at my old place. So I feel like it'll be fine if I put it maybe in the sunroom or something. The sunroom definitely has higher humidity than my old house for sure. So if it could live in the ambient humidity of my old house, it will be totally fine in the sunroom. I just wanted to have like maximum humidity in here for it so that it could recover well. And if you're new to this saga, this plant actually suffered from root rot right before I moved a year ago, and it's taken a year to get to this point. It was a wet stick, and very, very exciting, and she's so beautiful, and I'm really happy that I took the time. This disgusting leaf keeps getting in the background. I was gonna say, I'm really happy that I took the time to rehab the plant, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have this right now, and it is one of my favorite plants ever, so love her. Okay, really exciting. I finally potted up this beautiful Hoya obovata splash from Adam, and I put it in this desert pot to remind me of my desert friend and just where this plant came from in general, and it is putting out a new leaf. I am so excited to see what sort of splashy this leaf will have, and it rooted really, really well in spag, and now it's clearly doing great in this soil. This is a De La Tanks. Most everything in here is potted in De La Tanks or just straight up cocoa peat, and everything is really happy with that, so I'm super stoked about that. My Anthurium that I've recently repotted, like this one, and I think that's it. Oh, and this one, I added in a little bit of cocoa peat in there to help maintain a little bit more moisture, because I think that the De La Tanks was just a bit too loose for it. I don't really know exactly what was going on, but ever since I changed the soil mix just a little bit, they seem to be a lot happier. So if you are wanting to add more like moisture retention to your De La Tank soil, I would suggest adding cocoa peat, just like this. Back here, this is my variegated Epiprimnum pinnatum, and when I got it, it did have a little growth spike, and that growth spike has turned into a leaf that is trying to come out. Let me go on the other side to show you. Okay, can you see it better now? It doesn't look variegated actually, which like I hope that it does end up being variegated. We'll just have to see. But once this one gets a little bit more developed, I'm going to put it in nutrient soil. Right now it's in cocoa peat. If you can see that, it's a little dark. And I will be putting that into De La Tanks when it's ready, and putting it probably on a plank of wood in a greenhouse so that it can grow really big. And then back here, I have this like hyper humidity dome, and there's really not much to speak of in here, but these are just some plants that really needed some rehab, slash plants that I thought might have been going downhill and I was worried about them. So we have my Anthurium Ace of Spades in there, which you know, if you follow me, this plant has been on a journey, and yeah, it's been on a journey. We'll just leave it at that. This is a Philodendron Glorious, and it wasn't looking amazing. Like, these leaves feel super thin and unhappy, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna make it. I hope it does. So I have it in this like hyper humid dome, and then I just have some Melanochrysum propagations over there, if you can see that. Sorry, not the greatest filming, but this is not like the most exciting part, but I just have it in this like super humid area because I was having issues with the greenhouse being probably about this, like on a regular basis, until I fixed the issues with the seals, and now it's doing a lot better. Okay, so let's check in down here, and then that'll probably be all for this video. The Alocasia Maharani has seen better days, you know? She is trying to pull through whatever she's going through. This leaf seems to be hanging on pretty well. Who knows if it will stick around? I honestly don't know. And then I have some Hoya propagating. It needs some water. And then listen to this. Hold on, I need to turn off my dehumidifier. That is so loud. Okay. Look at this beautiful leaf. This is none other than the Anthurium regale, which is possibly my favorite Anthurium, but also possibly the most annoying Anthurium ever. So I've had a lot of issues with this plant basically from day one. If you weren't here for that time period of my life, basically I ordered this from a Facebook seller and it arrived. It was beautiful. It had like, I think 2 or 3 leaves. And I left for the weekend and it got thirsty and then everything shriveled up and died, and then we were left with a stump. Thankfully, I, talked with some people and I learned that it will grow from a stump. It will be fine. So I just completely like deadheaded it, and then it did end up putting out a new leaf, which was really, really beautiful. But it didn't do anything for like a year after that, and it just slowly withered away. And finally, I just cut off the leaf again. You can see this is like actually very freshly cut off. I deadheaded it again, and then it put out this leaf after I put it in one of those humidity bags, like those ones up there. So yeah, it finally put out a new leaf. I think that this plant just needs an extreme amount of humidity. Truly, I mean, I think everything in this cabinet needs a lot of humidity, but for some reason, this Anthurium is such a diva, beyond diva. It is the most diva plant I have ever had in my life. And there's been so many times where I want to throw it away and just be done with it, and then it does this. And it is so gorgeous, and then I change my mind and I'm like, okay, fine, you can stay. Like, this leaf is perfect, beyond perfect. So I hope that this will be like a turning point for the plant, and with my more consistent watering and thoughtfulness with the plant, it will be better. We will see. I mean, I'm still learning Anthurium. Like, I'm not here saying that I know everything about Anthurium. Clearly, like, I have a lot to learn. They are very rewarding when they do what you want. Or when you finally understand them and are able to do what they want. How about that? My Anthurium clarinervium is doing great. This new leaf that came out never like flattened out. I don't really know why, but it seems really healthy and feels really soft and nice. And this new leaf came out really beautiful. It's just facing backwards and I don't know why, but it is going to be putting out a new leaf soon. It's been blooming a ton, which is great, but also kind of annoying because I want leaves, because clearly like this leaf is on its way out. It's got some yellow on the edges, and so is this one. But I think they'll have at least another couple of months in them before they leave, but I would like to have at least one more to replace this one. That one will probably go first. So anyway, since it's been in the cabinet, it has seriously had a big turnaround. This plant was not looking good for a very long time. But it takes up a lot of space in here, but honestly, I think it's worth it because it is one of my favorite plants, especially this leaf. This leaf is like the most iconic leaf, but it faces backwards. So maybe I need to turn the plant or something, but yeah. And then, oh, my Burley Marks Fantasy. See, this is another amazingly cool and gorgeous plant that is just so annoying. When the humidity dropped in the cabinet, it just sent out this big runner, which is so annoying. I always heard that runners were due to lack of light, but I now think that they're due to lack of humidity. And honestly, it could be both for some plants. It just depends. But I'm going to cut off this runner and start it over again because this leaf looked really nice and then it put out a runner. So I don't really know what's going on with her. And look, this one's also starting to put out a runner. This is a Monstera. What is this called? I always forget what the name of it is. I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, this one sent out a runner a long time ago, and that was the reason why I was hating it so much. And then it started putting out actual leaves like it should. But honestly, I think I might just sell this plant. I don't know. It's so annoying and I'm over it. Like, it's pretty, but also it is just not worth the stress and the space. Like, this is a good spot in my greenhouse cabinet and I cannot have this plant taking up all of the space. All right, my friends, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed a little update. I never film at night, so this feels so weird, but the greenhouse like has its own lighting system, so it works out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the IKEA greenhouse, I will have all the videos I've ever done on it linked down below. You can leave extra questions in the comments if you have specific questions about any of the plants shown. I'm happy to chat about them because some of these plants are like truly my most prized possessions and I love them. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Give this video a like so that I know that you enjoy these update videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.